You're listening to Childcare Sights and Sounds, presented by Dani Christine Inc., a podcast made for childcare providers by childcare providers. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Childcare Sights and Sounds. I am your host, Dani, and Gigi is unfortunately not with me in this episode, but we do have a guest. And because of that, this is a very special episode. But I wanted to jump in the beginning to apologize for the very poor quality of audio on my end within this interview episode. I was on site inside of my centers all of last week and specifically during the recording of this episode. So the Wi-Fi signal and the strength with Zoom, it wasn't as crisp as this is sounding right now. But you can hear Gina, who is our guest, a little more clearly than you can hear me. So that's what's important. I really hope that you enjoy. Gina is the owner and operator of KIDS C.A.R.E Atlanta. Gina is a native of Decatur, Georgia, and she has obtained her Bachelor's of Arts and Sciences degree from the Tennessee State University in Nashville, and she has her master's from Kaiser University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Gina is actually the youngest African-American woman in Georgia to own and operate a private institute. And that is something that really stood out to me. I always love personally connecting with other young Black women that are on the same journey that I am. And specifically how I found out about Gina and her school, KIDS C.A.R.E Atlanta, is over the summer, she kind of went viral on social media for posting a video about how her school was handling the COVID-19 public health emergency and the different risk reduction procedures that they were doing. She kind of did like a commercial for her school, and I saw it on one of those popular Instagram pages. And I started following her and her school from then. And I love the content that she produces. I love the mission of her program. And I love everything about what she's doing. So I wanted to bring her onto this podcast to hopefully inspire you all and bring some awareness to KIDS C.A.R.E Atlanta. Thank you so much for watching, and please enjoy.
So thank you for being here with me, Gina. If you could, please, I'd love to learn some more background information about you and your education and experience. I'm so excited to have you here. So could you give me a little insight into how you got into this field?
Okay, so I got my undergrad degree at Tennessee State University. So my degree is actually in mass communications. And then while we were at school, it was like a popular thing at school for everyone to work at like YMCA for after school programs and stuff like that. So that's when I really got into, the aspect of education or programs, how you can like get in there, make a difference and stuff like that. So I started that. And when I graduated, of course, I came back to Atlanta and I couldn't find, anything that was really sparking my interest. I was working in corporate America. It was very boring to me. And I knew that, the kids were kind of my passion still. So I'm not the best teacher. I knew that wasn't my lane, but I definitely wanted to find something that was kind of in the same area, but maybe just a little different. So this was kind of the best option for me.
Oh, nice. I can definitely relate to that. I actually did go to school for education, but I know that I wasn't the strongest teacher either. And the way that I knew that is not necessarily that like I didn't know what to do when it came to the kids, but I wasn't something I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy being in the classroom, and I knew that if you don't enjoy it, that's gonna, come out.
It's gonna Yep.
Right. Yeah. And that's not the best experience for for the kids. So I always say that I can spot a good teacher because I know that like I'm not the best. So that's
and they have so many different techniques and stuff like that.
Right.
I just knew that I wasn't equipped to take to that and being in the classroom. Of course, I like to go in the classroom, for time to time, but not every day.
Can you tell us about, so I know that you own and you started up KIDS C.A.R.E Atlanta. Is that right? Can you tell us how you got that started, or when did you open?
I opened on February 15, 2019. So it's been over a year?
You're about to make 2 years.
Yeah, it's about to be 2 years. Right.
Isn't that crazy how time flies?
I know. There was so much downtime last year.
Yeah, that's bad by. So was this your first experience starting a childcare or school, or did you have a different one before?
No, this was my first experience with starting it. So it kind of came out, not always, but when I graduated, I told you I came back and I was trying to find, what was right for me in the childcare aspect. So I had been trying to get a daycare since I was like 24, but nothing was working out, and it was just nothing was falling into place, and I was just so discouraged by it. So I kind of like gave up on it for a year, and then I started back maybe at the beginning of 2018, looking for a child care center or something that I could do on my own, and everything fell into place. So I found this place, this actual building, this school, and I was like, this is just the perfect opportunity. Everything just fell into place. So I said,
it was already an established school before you came in, and like you rebranded it basically.
Right, exactly. So another thing is I have a master's degree in organizational psychology. So that's kind of like, for simpler terms, if you come in and do like acquisitions or like business transformations, stuff like that. So I knew how to do that as well. When I came in to, transfer everything over, make everything new, just create a new space, but keeping the same culture.
Got it. Okay. And you said that when you were trying to do daycare, it wasn't really working out for you. What was the difference here? Is it harder to get a daycare license versus opening a school?
No, I really think it was just the wrong time in my life. So it was just like the universe didn't want me to have it at that point. And now that I look back, I probably wasn't ready anyway. I think I was kind of rushing into it. I was 24, so I was still learning everything I need to know about even the industry, licensing, stuff like that. So I didn't know everything that I know now. So, which of course you learn with experience anyway. But I think I was just kind of rushing into it. I couldn't find any buildings. I didn't necessarily know that in order to get a building, you need like special use permits and this, and that, and the third. So I was just rushing and it wasn't working.
Did you have any like coaches or mentors along the way that were able to help you?
Yes. So actually the previous owner of this building, her name is Dr. Mary Watson, and she's really helped me, for like a lack of better words. She showed me the blueprint, basically. So it was kind of like she's retiring. She was ready to, sit back and let someone else take over. So I was a helping hand, a listening ear, and
nice.
the
yeah. I always tell my clients that there are opportunities like that. There might be people that are willing to exit the business, or that want to retire or sell. Like instead of starting up from scratch, see what opportunities already are out there that exist.
Right. Here in Georgia, it's kind of the process for getting licensed and stuff like that is very, it's much easier if you are doing like a change of ownership. So even though business is not the same, so we have different names and different ownership and stuff like that. But if the building was already a child care center, it's technically a change of ownership. So it's kind of the best thing to do because you don't have to prep a building from scratch. You have to have the sinks in each classroom. You have to have, stuff that a regular building wouldn't have. So
you have to have a certain number of toilets for each amount of kids.
Exactly. So here, that's actually what most people do anyway, because I mean, you get a child care space, it was already a child care space. So the change of ownership application is kind of it's just way easier.
That's good to know. It seems like Georgia makes it easy for you guys to do that that switchover.
Right. Yep, it is.
Yeah. So what age groups or grades does your school care for?
Okay, so we start at 3 years old and we go up to 5th grade. 3 years old because we don't do potty training. We're not a diapering facility, and it's more school than daycare. So, we get diapering and stuff like that is kind of on the daycare side. But so 3 years old to 5th grade, and our 1st to 5th grade classroom is kind of like a homeschool structure. So we may have, like this year, we have 3 1st graders, 4 2nd graders, 1 3rd grader, and 1 4th grader. So it's individual based learning. So even though they're on different grade levels in one classroom, the teacher is trying to teach each child individual. So everyone may be on math on Monday, but they won't have the same work because we're on different levels. Even though they may be in the same grade level, 2 1st graders still may not be on the same level. And I think a lot of kids get left behind in like public schools and stuff like that because they're still not on the same level, even though they're in the same grade. So it's an intimate class setting. My largest classroom in the entire school is 10. So 10
I was just going to ask you what's your average class size?
Yes, so it's very intimate. So the largest classroom is 10 students with 1 teacher. Anything above that will get a 2nd teacher because, like I said, it's individual-based learning. So we need, teachers to be able to give that kind of attention for each student.
Right. So is it 1 classroom per grade?
Right. So the only classroom that shares a classroom is the 1st through 5th graders. They're all in 1 classroom, but everyone else, like the 3-year-olds, have their own classroom, 4-year-old own classroom, 5.
Yeah. Okay. So how many rooms do you have?
5.
Okay. So the majority is like the younger age groups have most of the rooms. Okay, got it. And is it free for the parents to send their children there, or is it private school that they pay tuition?
It's privately owned, so they do pay tuition, but we do accept CAPS, which is, government assistance.
Like a subsidy?
Right.
Okay.
So this year I've actually done scholarships for the students here just because I know it's a lot going on with coronavirus and the pandemic and everything like that. So I did that independently. I did accept donations from friends and stuff like that from Instagram and stuff. So that's where everyone's donation went towards scholarships for some of the students.
Nice. Speaking of Instagram, that's how I discovered you. I feel like you had a viral video back in the summertime highlighting all the different things that your program was doing to reduce the risk of spreading COVID and making parents feel comfortable to enroll their children in your program. I thought it was very well done. And you did a great job of marketing your program, showing that you care, and also highlighting the important steps that you're taking to prevent the spread of COVID. What happened after that video was released? Did you notice a lot of more phone calls, or could you walk us through that?
Yes. So I think the video may have went out on like a Friday or maybe a Sunday. So I wasn't expecting anybody to call over that weekend. but my phone was blown up the whole weekend. Of course, it was a lot of people just wanted to get their name in the air or just reaching out saying, you know, I have a kid, but only a percentage were actually serious about coming to do a tour, coming to enroll and stuff like that. But I did get a lot of students from that.
Nice.
Good families. They were actually looking for something that was that can provide their family what they're looking for, because a lot of people still have to go to work. So when we first opened back up, it was still kind of during the shutdown. So, parents still have to go to work. So it was a lot of parents that I know that they needed our services.
Right. So you were closed for a period of time.
Yes. We closed from probably the end of March until the beginning of June. So we opened back up for summer enrichment, which I didn't know if I was even going to open up for that because we just didn't have enough students.
Right.
It was very, very weird because it was so empty. We would have stayed open because we're considered essential workers.
Right.
But if we only had, 5 students coming in, we can't sustain that. So
were you full before? Like before March 2020?
I was about at,
I know you were just growing.
80% capacity. So yeah, we were at a good number. And then the shutdown happened.
So how did that feel? Because I can't imagine if that happened to me. We're approaching my 4th year in my centers, but even before that, I had a home daycare. So I've been a business owner since 2014. And I can't imagine if in 2015 there's something like this happened to me. I feel like I would have been extremely discouraged. Like, how did you take that as a new business owner?
I was very discouraged, but it's one of those things that you kind of got to prepare for being a business owner anyway. So if it wasn't the pandemic, it would have been something. Like, you have to wrap your mind around, it's not always going to go, the perfect way anyway. So I do think that I had about a week. I just gave myself a week. Like, you have a week to be sorry. You have a week to be sad. After that, you just
get it together.
Yeah, you got to roll with the punches because, it's a business. You still have to pay the bills. You still have to get students in. The pandemic won't be forever. So, especially with the school. So it wasn't like, a clothing line or something like that. With school, people will still need school. So figure out what you need to do.
Right.
Because they'll be back. And if they're not back, it'll be somebody. So just putting myself out there was big for me.
Did you do virtual learning?
So we did do virtual in April and May. So for probably about 4 weeks of virtual for the students that are already enrolled in that school year. But for the summertime, I know they weren't going to do it in the summertime. Kids are still kids. So I didn't even think about doing that.
We had started virtual learning in April, and then we did it through June for free. And then we charged a small weekly rate from April to June. And then in September, we did it for free because we were delivering supplies and stuff every week to families' houses that had signed up for it. And that became way too much. So we were like, we're going to stop delivering supplies and we'll just make it free for anybody that needs it. And then in September, we were like, this is all just too much. So we stopped doing it. And for us specifically, we were doing it with 2- and 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. So it was really
so they're not even. It's just it's very hard with 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds because they, even though they're on their tablets at home all the time, it's different when they're actually doing a classroom activity.
Right.
So like coordinating them, that's the toughest And I feel for everybody who's doing virtual learning with the babies.
Yeah. But thankfully, we're in a much better place now. Yeah. Were you able to get those kids back that had left, or did you kind of replace them with mostly new?
I got some, but majority of my students are new or came during the summer. So we had like summer enrichment. So a lot of our students just stayed into the school year because they were going into public schools and the public schools were still closed. So a lot of those students came from the summer program.
Are they open now in Atlanta?
Some are, some aren't. So I think you can pick and choose which days you want to go. So they may go Monday, Tuesday, and then they're off on Wednesday, and then come back Thursday and Friday. Only for some schools. Some schools still aren't in. So I think it depends on what county you're in.
Right. Got it. Okay. So just in general, what has been the most challenging experience, even before COVID, about owning a private school? What has really posed a challenge for you?
Proving myself. So everybody thinks that I'm 13. Or I'm younger than I really am, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or things like that. And I think people, especially because the school or the building used to be owned by an older woman, so some of the people who knew her or had been here before, I think they were kind of taken back and weren't giving me the same respect. So just putting myself out there to let people know, I'm still going to be me. I still got my hoops. I still have my braids, but I'm still an adult. I'm a business owner and I know what I'm doing. So just being more, putting that authority on things has been difficult for me because I'm a pretty laid back person, but you always got to show yourself sometimes. You always got to put your foot down.
I agree.
People know, this is mine.
It took me a while to get to that point. When I started my home daycare, I was only 20. So I honestly really didn't know of everything. I didn't know what I was doing for the most part. I was trying to figure it out. And it took me several years to kind of get to that point of being confident and comfortable with asserting myself, as a leader and establishing that this is my business, this is how things are done.
Right, exactly. And that's where I am now. So like you said, it was like my first year. I'm going into my second year now. So just learning everything and still being able to let people know, like, okay, this is what we're doing here. I want everybody to feel comfortable, but also I need you to know that I am me. I'm going to be me. I don't want to come off, I'm not going to be, this is not how I'm talking every day. I'm going to be me, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a young professional. I'm still not, it's no janky business going on, but I don't need to speak like this in order to let you know that it's not. Just trust me.
So do you have a partner that's working in the business with you, or an administrative staff?
No, it's just me.
Just you?
It's just me and my teachers.
So do you have goals to expand or to grow with the KIDS C.A.R.E Atlanta brand?
I do, but I definitely want to give myself a while. Like I said, we're going on year 2. I don't see that happening at least for another 4 or 5 years.
Got it.
Because I want to get everything I can out of this school first. So, STEM certified, stuff like that. I really want to go into to make it, the most elite school in the area. So after that, then I'll be open to doing another location.
Okay, got it. And if someone is listening that's from Atlanta, how would they go about registering their child in your program? Is it open enrollment, or when do you do enrollment?
So we're open for enrollment right now for the 2021-2022 school year. So they can go to our website, www.kidscareatlanta.com. They can visit us on Instagram or Facebook at KIDS C.A.R.E Atlanta. And the information is there for enrollment. You can call us, you can email us, you can click on the links and they'll take you to the website to that you can look at everything, and then you can contact us and we'll get you in here.
I'll definitely link all those things that you said in the show notes of this podcast and the video replay on YouTube as well. So it can be really easy for everyone. Just click the description below and you'll see all of Gina's and KIDS C.A.R.E Atlanta's links. But I thank you so much for making the time to be a guest on Childcare Sights and Sounds. And is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Not really. I'm just thankful that you reached out to me because I like connecting with people that are like-minded. Yes. And then it's very difficult now because we don't see people. So just keeping those connections and stuff like that is really important to me. So I really appreciate you reaching out to me. And whenever we're in each other's cities.
Yes. Whenever it's safe to travel again.
I know.
I have family in Atlanta, so I've been there often over the years, and I'll definitely hit you up. And I appreciate the connection as well, and for you being so open to come on and join us on this episode. And I will follow up with you right after this because I do want to make sure I get those links right, and I'll share with the episode with you once it comes out.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Gina. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, you guys. Be sure to scroll down and click that subscribe button if you're watching this as a video replay on YouTube, or subscribe to this podcast if you're listening audio only. I appreciate you watching on YouTube and listening on podcast streaming platforms. Both of those things are great. If you could also leave a 5-star rating and review, that's awesome. Like this video if you're watching the replay, and let us know what you'd like to see next. Next week's episode is the finale of this season, and Gigi and I cannot wait to bring that episode to you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.